me, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You should have used that phone to enter it.
Yeah. Can I have my iPad?
What are you gonna do? Oh, you gotta wait for him to join back here. Oh, Sharmin is live now. I just.
Get it.
So, are you gonna invite us again? We apologize. Some technical difficulties.
We apologize. We apologize. Share the live. The first one I hit the finish button by in error. So I'm so sorry that I was about to put up the phone number and I hit the error button. So Ty had a comment. The number that you can call into is 718-506-8255.
Excuse me.
Sorry, guys. Let me pin this.
Okay.
718-506-8255.
Yeah,
okay. Now back to our discussion. The first video was I hit the finish button in error. So my humblest apology. It was not willful. So if you tagged anyone in the first video, you can also tag them again because it was done in error. So sorry about that. So I have here with me Carlotta, and before the video ended, we were talking about when we share our truth, how the reaction of others. And so tonight our topic is broken but not destroyed, honoring your process. We all have
we all have issues. We all have situations in our lives that cause us to be broken. That causes not to be as perfect as our lives to be as perfect as we would like them to be. Our dreams not yet fulfilled. And so the thing about being broken is that sometimes we have to remember that we can put ourselves back together. We can't do it on our own. We need assistance because it's a journey and we need people to help us through it. But the thing about it is that we can put ourselves back together.
Yes.
Again. And we may not be the same way. The way we put ourselves together may not be exactly the way we were. But we can put ourselves back together and be beautiful, and be strong and be healthy. But it's a process. And even if people can see the brokenness, people can see scars, there's beauty in scars.
Oh, yeah.
It speaks of maturity, it speaks of a journey, it speaks of experiences. So you can be broken, but you don't have to be destroyed. And I shared a few, maybe a month or so ago with a group of women, and it's a Japanese a Japanese way, and they show you this beautiful bowl, and it's a broken vase, but when they put it back together, they put it with this gold to cause it to come back together. So the vase, after it has been broken and put back together, is even more beautiful than it was before it was broken, because of the beautiful thread that run through it that holds it together. And you can be broken because of any situation in your life, but we want you to remember that you can also put yourself back together. And you may not be the same person. You might see some differences, but different is not bad.
Say that again.
Different is not bad, but there is beauty and diversity. You could be different, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just different. That's who you are. So I think it's very important that we understand that different situations in our lives can break us. But we need to dig deep within us, because we have the strength, we have all that we need, and then we have friends and family that can help us to put us back together.
Definitely. So let's start our topic. Let's start discussing about the process, and maybe we can start with being a broken vessel.
Mm-hmm.
What that looks like and how the vessel becomes broken. I could share my story.
Mm-hmm.
That makes people uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, if you want to share your story, it doesn't have to be you're broken.
No, but
to make it concrete, I guess.
To maybe later on, but our vessel can become broken through experiences, the life experiences, the things that we experience as a child. Our vessels can be broken during socialization. What happened? Our vessels can be broken traumatic experiences. Our vessels can be broken in so many ways. Mm-hmm. Psychological abuse as a child, neglect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true, and some, I was speaking with a client the other day, and she was saying, my childhood was perfect, but it's my adulthood where I experienced this trauma, and sometimes indeed you can have what you seem to think is a perfect childhood. But then in your adulthood, you meet people, and you invite people into your life, or you accept people into your life who then, the way they treat you, and like you say, sometimes it's just psychological. The way people belittle you and put you down, the things they say to you that will break your spirit, that will lower your self-concept or your self-esteem. So it can be very emotional, psychological, mental kind of trauma, just because of how does this interaction make you feel? We say, but why somebody calling you fat offends you or affects you so deeply? That can affect you so deeply, of course. How does it make you feel? Everybody's trauma, or everybody responds to trauma, or everybody experiences their brokenness in different ways.
Yeah.
So your story don't have to sound like someone else's. Somebody said, but you never got punched in your whole life. Nobody never put a hand on you. Were you talking about abuse? Were you talking about brokenness? Just because somebody called you names? But how does that make you feel? And that is very important. If it makes you feel less than a person, if it causes you to question yourself, if it causes you to be uncomfortable, then it's abusive. And it has and can continue to have a very long-term effect on you.
And it's amazing that you use that example, because there is this common adage, or that we say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words
won't hurt me.
Mm-mm. That is such it's such a misleading statement, and so many people embrace it, and you would hear kids saying it. But words
Words are
really
very-
hurt.
Yeah, words can be very cruel. Words can be very cruel. And people can control you by their words.
Of course.
Words are very. We have an ad that we made. With that same stick and stones may break my bones, but words will hurt me, because we say, you know, a lot of bullying. You bully children bully each other, young people bully each other, and they never lay a hand. It's just the horrible things they say. It's just the words, what they call people, what they say about people, and it's belittling, and it's very impactful in a very negative way. So words can hurt, you know. You can't cook, you're ugly, you're black, you're fat, you all kinds of, you know, little things and the sarcasm by which, you know, some people could tell you something very nice, but they don't mean it to be nice, you know? So they use the sarcasm and, you know, oh, you look beautiful in that dress.
Yeah, but it don't suit you.
So they tell you that, but look at the tone, you know, oh, yeah, you look beautiful in that dress. But it's not true. And so those things, the words, because some people say, but I didn't tell her anything bad. But it's how you're saying it. It's when you're saying it. It's the interaction you've had with the person, so that person knows you. You know, we tell our children, you just look at them in a certain way and they stop. I've been in court cases where the judge says, asks the person, so how the person says, he says that if he comes home and I'm not there, then I will see. But how is that a threat? Just that you will see what? Well, I know what he means. So what does he mean? And, you know, because they understand the context of the discussion, they understand the interaction with the people, the precedents, you know, every time he says that, then he does this.
Right.
So just words. Nobody did you anything. They just told you. You know, they just issued a threat that don't sound like a threat to other people, but because you understand the context in which we're having this discussion. So brokenness looks different depending on who is experiencing it. And one of the things towards your healing is understanding that you have to decide. No, we've all been through a lot of stuff, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I don't even want to, because you look, this is my life, this couldn't be. You know, like for me, I grew up in church. I remember my mother, she told us, because I wouldn't know that, but she said, like, from when we started to walk from age 1, she would take us to Sunday school. At that time, I lived in Workmanville. So I went to First Assembly for maybe the first 8 years of my life. But that's my mother said that. And then when I moved to Queenstown, we started going to Central Assembly for many, many years, and we met. And when you grow up, everybody's going to church. You're socialized a certain way, you're taught certain things, and so you expect life to be this way. And so sometimes I'm saying, is this my life? Because when you grow up and you go to church and you're taught this is the way life is supposed to be, and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, and this should happen and this shouldn't happen, and then all those things, what is happening? It's difficult because everything that should be happening is not happening, and things that shouldn't be happening is happening, and like, what is happening? And so for all of us, the way we become to a place of brokenness is just totally different, and the way we respond to it is totally different. For me, in lots of my experiences, I responded with silence because I was totally confused.
Because you were told this is not going to happen, so you weren't prepared for those things. No. And you didn't have the coping mechanism or anything because you were not prepared. because this is not supposed to happen to a Christian.
Right. And that is the thing. And when your circle is not different or diverse, I mean, I get into trouble with this in the faith community because I grew up with all my friends should believe like me. And we talk about how can two walk together
unless they agree.
And we talk about light and darkness and all of this kind of thing. So for me, all my experiences were grounded or cushioned or influenced by this narrow perspective, because most of the people I interacted with or engaged with were people of a certain mindset, a certain way of being. So then I did not have the lens to look at the world in a different way. Neither was I receiving, or even if I received, neither was I accepting. Because for me, to the pure, all things are pure. For me, bear ye one another's burden, so fulfill the love of Christ. Judge not, so you may not be judged. In honor, preferring one another. Forgiving. Just as Christ forgive us, and we forgive. And loving. And all of these things. But for me, those things were explained, and I experienced them and lived them and believed them in this frame. So anything that was coming outside of that frame was very, very confusing to me. And in some of my experiences, not only was it confusing, but to the pure, all things are pure. So she couldn't mean that. He didn't mean that. And then forgiving 70 times 7 and all of this. So it looks differently for everyone. And that is why some people respond to their brokenness with silence, with inaction, or at least you're thinking inaction. They don't seem to be doing anything to you. But you have to understand that it's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of little pieces that people have to find to put together. And how do you frame something or ground something in a setting where you don't even understand what's happening? You don't have a label for it. You know, we have to label everything. And if you don't have a label for it, you can't even start discussing it because you haven't yet named it. I know.
This is Talk Time with Sharmin. I am your host, Sharmin Prince, and I have here with me my dear friend and sister Carlotta Boodoo, and our topic tonight is broken but not destroyed, honoring your process. And we were just talking about how the vessel becomes broken. And Carlotta explained a few ways that the vessel can be broken. And of course, I highlighted the trauma and the other experiences that we might have that cause the vessel to be broken. But once the vessel is broken, what happens?
Well, a lot of things happen. No one thing. So we talk about just a few things. Shame is one thing that when your vessel is broken, shame brings you to a place of, I don't know what to do. I can't do. So you may think that some people they're inactive, they're not doing anything, because the first thing is that this is happening to me, or this has happened to me, but the community don't see me as this person. I appear to the community as this strong, beautiful woman or man, and so, or boy or girl, and so I don't want my image. I'm concerned about my image. I don't have something to frame my experiences. So that That's going to be another big thing, because how are you going to frame this? And if you're not framing it, you're not understanding how to deal with it. But the hardest thing is the breaking of your spirit. Because we're spiritual beings, we're very spiritual people. When your spirit is broken, it takes a lot for you to go on. A broken vessel experiences depression. And because mental health is very important, if we don't take care of our mental health, we become mentally ill. And when we talk about mental illness, we immediately think about mad people.
And in our context, mad people is a schizophrenic who had a psychotic break and is unable to be rational and function in society. That's